Ever wondered why it's called the United Kingdom? What exactly is being united? It's not just one country. It's a story of four nations, centuries of war, royal destiny, and a union that's still being debated today. Let's unravel the epic history of how the UK was made. Long before the United Kingdom ever existed, the island of Britain was a patchwork of separate, often rival kingdoms. You had England in the south, Scotland in the north, Wales in the west, and across the sea, Ireland. Each had its own kings, its own culture, its own language, and a fierce sense of identity. The Romans had once ruled a large chunk of Britain, but after they packed up and left in the 5th century, the island fractured back into smaller territories. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, and these regions were not friendly neighbors. There was no united kingdom. There were only rivals, each vying for power and survival. The journey toward a united kingdom didn't begin with a friendly handshake. It began with a sword. The first piece of the puzzle to fall into place was Wales. In the late 13th century, King Edward I of England, a formidable and ambitious monarch, launched a series of brutal military campaigns to conquer his western neighbor. For years, the Welsh fought back fiercely to defend their homeland, but England's military might was overwhelming. After a long and bloody struggle, Wales was conquered and absorbed into the Kingdom of England. To solidify his control, Edward even named his own son the Prince of Wales, a tradition that continues to this day. By the 1500s, Welsh laws were systematically replaced with English ones, and Wales was officially incorporated into the English crown. This wasn't a union of equals. It was a union by conquest. The first step towards a united kingdom had been taken by force. But Scotland was a different story entirely. For centuries, Scotland guarded its independence with a passion that became legendary. England tried time and time again to conquer its northern neighbor, but the Scots were relentless defenders of their freedom. Epic battles like Stirling Bridge, where William Wallace led a stunning victory, and Bannockburn, where Robert the Bruce secured Scottish independence for generations, became defining moments in their national story. These weren't just battles. They were declarations that Scotland would not be broken. England's military campaigns consistently failed to bring Scotland under its control. Force wasn't going to work here. So history had to find another way to unite these two ancient rivals. And that way came not through armies but through royal bloodlines and a twist of fate. In the year 1603, a pivotal moment arrived. Queen Elizabeth I of England, the famous Virgin Queen, died without any children to inherit her throne. This created a succession crisis. Who would rule England? The answer lay to the north. The closest living relative with a legitimate claim was none other than King James VI of Scotland. So in a remarkable turn of events, the King of Scotland traveled south to London and was crowned King James I of England. For the first time ever, the crowns of England and Scotland were worn by the same person. This event is known as the Union of the Crowns. But, and this is a crucial detail, this did not create a single country. England and Scotland remained two separate nations. They still had their own parliaments, their own legal systems, and their own distinct identities. They just happened to share a monarch. It was a personal union, not a political one. Still, the seed of a truly united kingdom had been planted. The idea of one Britain was no longer just a dream. Over the next century, the idea of a full political union grew stronger. The arrangement of two countries with one king was often awkward and inefficient. England wanted greater security on its northern border and more control over trade. Meanwhile, Scotland was facing a severe economic crisis. A disastrous colonial project in Panama, known as the Darien Scheme, had bankrupted the Scottish treasury and many of its nobles. Scotland was desperate. The conditions were ripe for a deal. After intense negotiations, threats, and political maneuvering, both the English and Scottish parliaments passed the Acts of Union in 1707. This was the big one. England and Scotland officially merged into a single state. Its new name? The Kingdom of Great Britain. A new nation was born. It would have one parliament based in London, one bold new flag, the first version of the Union Jack, and a single, unified foreign policy. This was the first true united kingdom, a political and economic fusion of two old rivals. But what about Ireland? Its story within this evolving union is far more painful and complicated. England had exerted influence and control over parts of Ireland for centuries, but the 17th and 18th centuries saw that control deepen through military conquest, the seizure of land for English and Scottish settlers, and a series of harsh laws designed to suppress the native Irish Catholic population. By the end of the 1700s, inspired by revolutions in America and France, a major rebellion erupted in Ireland seeking to establish an independent republic. The rebellion was brutally crushed, but it terrified the British government in London. Fearing that Ireland could become a backdoor for an invasion by enemies like France, they decided the only solution was full political union. So in 1801, the Irish Parliament was dissolved, and Ireland was officially merged with Great Britain. The country's name changed once again. It now became the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. On paper, it was a union. In reality, it was deeply unequal. The vast majority of the Irish population faced religious discrimination, extreme poverty, and political powerlessness. This so-called union only fueled decades of resentment and a burning desire for independence. That desire for independence could not be contained. Throughout the 19th century, calls for Irish self-governance grew louder and louder. By the early 20th century, the situation exploded into conflict. The Easter Rising of 1916, followed by the Irish War of Independence, marked a period of intense and violent struggle against British rule. Ultimately, the British government could no longer hold on. In 1922, a treaty was signed that granted independence to the majority of the island. The Irish Free State, which would later become the Republic of Ireland, was born. However, there was a major complication. 6 counties in the northern province of Ulster had a majority Protestant population, many of whom identified as British and wished to remain part of the UK. So, the island was partitioned. Most of Ireland became independent, while those 6 counties in the north remained. This forced the country to change its name one last time. It became what it is known as today, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. This division has been the source of immense political tension and conflict, known as the Troubles, that lasted for decades. Even today, after centuries of history, the union is not a settled issue. In Scotland, the desire for independence remains a powerful political force, leading to a referendum in 2014 and ongoing debates about holding another. In Northern Ireland, the political situation remains sensitive, with complex questions about its identity and future, especially after Brexit. And in Wales, there's a growing movement to assert its unique cultural and political identity within the UK. The United Kingdom is not just a country. It's a living, breathing political experiment. It's a continuous negotiation between 4 distinct national identities, all bound together by a shared and often turbulent history. So why is it called the United Kingdom? Because that is exactly what it is, a kingdom formed by the union of several older kingdoms. A union created sometimes through royal marriage, sometimes through political agreement, and sometimes through brutal conquest. Its name is a direct reflection of its complex, contested, and constantly unfolding history. And that's what makes the story of the UK one of the most fascinating on Earth. Thanks for watching. If you found this history interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into how our world came to be. See you next time.